Hello, and welcome to the fourth episode of our podcast, The Epitome of Anathema, starring myself and Nate Turner, as per usual. A double bit of guitar there, I liked that, it was good.
Sorry, you weren't expecting that, was you?
No, I wasn't, it was great.
Maybe taking all the glory a little bit.
Yeah, if only I could play guitar. Maybe I'll learn and then I'll bring it round and then we'll just have a guitar duel for about a solid hour.
Yeah, but nobody can even see who's playing guitar.
No, I could have said it was me, couldn't you?
Because it could be all along, yeah.
Yeah. So, on this episode, I won't be drinking. And
Got a court order or something, yeah?
Yeah, after the last episode. After the last episode, I left the house and then went and smashed a load of car windows because I was just in a fucking blaze of glory and nothing could stop me. But Nate's drinking, and what have you got there?
It was vodka, now it's gin.
Oh, right.
It's one of them...
Gin in a vodka bottle.
It's a make your own kit.
Oh, right. Okay. So...
So as you can see, I'm using a tea strainer to catch all the botanicals.
Right.
Don't know what's in it. Coriander seeds and some other bits and bobs.
Wow. Coriander gin.
But yeah, I'll be drinking gin. Tom's on the... Is that water?
Yeah, just the water, yeah. Did have a cup of tea earlier, but yeah.
You've got to stay hydrated, haven't you?
Yeah. So that's the gin you made recently then?
Yeah.
Yeah. So is that just vodka plus other ingredients? I thought that was all gin was.
Yeah, that's all that is.
Yeah.
It's a bottle of Glen's with some botanicals in. Leave it for a week.
Yeah, that was it, yeah.
Happy days.
Surely juniper berries are the key ingredient, aren't they?
Yeah, so you leave them in for 4 days.
Yeah.
Strain them out and then put some other botanicals in.
What did you put in? Coriander, did you say? And
yeah, coriander seeds.
wow. I bet that tastes really nice. I'm jealous. But obviously, if I do that...
I can waft it in your direction. You can leave the top of the bottle off if you want.
No, it's only a risk because I've got to drive after this. But so I won't. But that should probably fend off the coronavirus, shouldn't it?
Yeah, I hope so, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we don't have our masks, do we?
But in a way, we sort of immuned ourselves to that on the second episode when we drank a load of Corona. Presumably that's the vaccine.
There must be a link there. They're the same thing.
Yeah. I imagine if you drink a little bit of it every now and again, you can't get it, and it's as simple as that. Because a flu vaccine is just a small bit of the virus, isn't it? So.
Yeah, well, that's what I've been doing. I've been injecting it.
Yeah.
So we did a bit on that podcast, didn't we, after the break, I think.
You've been injecting liquid Corona, as in the beer?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
If anybody wants to try it, though, I'd recommend defizzing it, decarbonating it. You don't want it in.
Yeah.
When it goes in fizzy, it makes you a bit dizzy.
That's a song that writes itself.
Are you scared of the coronavirus?
A little bit, yeah. I think it's steadily progressed quite nicely, hasn't it? Because I remember 2 weeks ago there were people at work saying, it's just the flu. It's just the flu. I mean, the common cold kills more people. This kills more people. That kills more people. It's a load of bollocks. And if you have it, the chances are you live. But then over time, it's got more and more serious sounding, where they're saying, actually, statistically, more people will die from this than the common flu. And it sounds a little bit more frightening, really. With all the measures that they've put in place in other countries and are slowly putting in place in this country, you think, well, it's unavoidably serious. So,
well, I think I agree with you in the statement that people maybe take a fact and grip hold of it and use it as their defence mechanism.
Yeah.
So basically, the facts or the statistics show that it kills more older people.
Yeah.
They're more at threat. So that's the facts that I've been clinging on to. So I'm essentially immune mentally and physically because I'm still young, fit.
Yeah, well, in this area that we're living in, it's only something like 15 people so far, I think, maybe even less, I can't remember. It was on the news last night. So if only those 15 people have got it, and I don't think any of them have died in this area, as far as I know. It's not a lot of people, is it? I mean, the chances are you're not going to come in contact with it at all yet until people start coming from London or somewhere down south in massive droves for some reason. It's not going to affect this area just yet, but you never know. It's all about travel, isn't it? You think, well,
I'd agree with the lockdown on the borders to Yorkshire.
Yeah,
I know there's a lot of European countries have locked down their borders.
Yeah,
I think Yorkshire should as well.
Yeah, if we could just do that independently, it'd be fantastic, because they're still saying travel from in and out of London's okay. I noticed that this morning, that they're saying a lot of people thought that it was going to come into effect and nobody could go anywhere, but no, they're still saying, no, come and go as you please. And that's a little bit worrying, because London's at a higher rate of people getting it than anywhere else. So you're spreading it out, and people are just driving off not knowing that they've got it, because the symptoms don't actually show themselves until, about 5 days later.
Yeah, 7 days later.
So you're in contact with people who've got it and then travel wherever. That's the problem. But I won't talk about it for a solid hour. I think people are probably sick of hearing it to some extent. It is scaremongering to some degree. You put on the news and watch half an hour of news, you sat there thinking, Christ, everyone's going to die.
What do you think about the conspiracy theories surrounding it?
Most of which are obviously laughable, but someone said something at work about the idea that Chinese introduced it to try and quell the riots in Hong Kong. And I thought, yeah,
I'm behind that one. I think that's a brilliant one.
Yeah,
so, it takes a creative mind, doesn't it?
Yeah.
To pick out the facts.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, well, there certainly isn't any riots in Hong Kong anymore. It definitely solved that problem, didn't it? So it's one possibility. And as someone else I know said something about it wasn't bat soup, as a lot of people think it was. It was actually engineered in a lab, and then it mistakenly got out somehow. And was that on purpose? Who knows?
The mysteries are still out there, isn't it, really?
Yeah, you could get real tinfoil hatty about it and believe all sorts of shit. The Chinese government, I know, do get away with killing people all the time and don't tell anyone. So you never really know.
Well, there was a man of Asian origin who went into my mother's workplace about 2 or 3 weeks ago now, and he came in with a mask on and like a backpack, and was asking for the pasta. Pasta is in a Pastor.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
So, because Mum runs a kids club that's in a church.
Yeah, I see.
So he came in asking for the pastor, and he basically needed to tell or get the message straight to God that the Chinese had in fact manufactured it. Wow. And intentionally spread it, not to quell the problems in Hong Kong. I think the motive he was thinking of was to basically kind of lower the world population.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who would get behind that theory. You think, well, there are too many people, it would solve a lot of problems. Someone said something as well about the Spanish flu to me. It was after the First World War and how many people that killed.
1918, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that was thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people. It was a significant hit to the world's population. And the idea that might have been on purpose as well. But I don't know. These things get out.
Well, that was around the time of manufacturing biological weapons with mustard gas and all the rest of it.
Yeah, so...
Still don't beat that bad boy, the bubonic, though, does it?
When was that? That was obviously a long time ago, wasn't it?
There was a really bad outbreak a long time ago, and then there's been sporadic outbreaks since. But it's always had a really good run.
Yeah. Is that one of the plagues that Isaac Newton happens to be fleeing from when he was sat in hiding?
Is that a pun?
No. No, it's something I read the other day. I think when there was some massive plague outbreak, Isaac Newton took to hiding in some nice country reserve sort of place, and that's where he was sat at the tree where the apple fell, and he discovered his theory. Well, not theory of anything. Discovered gravity, or what we know as gravity now. So good things come from plagues. I think someone else said Shakespeare wrote one of his plays when he was in hiding from another plague.
Yeah.
So You never know.
It sounds like going into harding's like a really stimulating situation for the creativity.
Yeah. So some good things could come from it. There are people in isolation all over the world are dealing with it and going about their own way. People might read more. It might be really good for people in a way. You never know.
Yeah. I mean, you get a really nice house up in the Isle of Skye somewhere in Scotland, way out away from anyone.
Yeah, all the rich and famous are probably doing the same thing as Isaac Newton did and Shakespeare did in the day, and going, I'm going to find my little country home in the middle of the country. Country home in the middle of the country, as it usually is.
Is that a thingy song, a Blair song?
It's a little house, lives in a house, in a very little house in the country, yeah. Basically, yeah. I was just quoting Blair.
You're citing fucking lyrics to me to get your point across.
Yeah, there's a lot of rich and famous people out in hiding at the moment doing what they do. We might see a lot of good films out of this. You never know.
Yeah.
A lot of good books.
Good book.
My mum came round last night just after work and was in a bit of a foul mood because she'd been sent home from work, I think, that day. And she's a hard worker, my mum. She doesn't like to be told she can't do the work that she likes to do. And from what I could tell, she could barely do anything at home whatsoever. She's got a work laptop with her. She's sat there just looking at it thinking, I can't do anything, this is bullshit.
Can you say what she does?
She works for the council. And she is somewhat involved with making homes more livable for elderly and disabled people. So I think she just sends people around.
Sounds like quite an important role.
Yeah. But she's pissed off with it because she can't do anything. And in her mind, she got it into her head that more people going home will only increase the virus spread. And I was thinking, well, how? And we dissected it a little bit. And the reason she decided that is because there's still people getting it in Italy despite the isolation. And I was thinking, well, why is that then? And she said, well, it's probably because they live with old elderly relatives more than we do. So they're bringing it home to their elderly relatives and they're getting it. And so, well, that's why then. Predominantly in this country, we don't live with our elderly relatives.
Or it could be that they only know how many people have got it because of the test. They can never truly know 100%. They just use guesstimates.
Yeah.
They'll go like, well, there's 6 people that we've found who have been infected. Roughly, they've met X amount of people. So we predict that in the next few days or the next 5 days, we're going to see this many cases.
Yeah, so much of it is definitely estimated, isn't it, I suppose. In this country now, as far as I know, they've advised people not to go in to test for it unless symptoms are really, really bad, and then go into hospital, presumably.
I haven't been keeping up with the recommendations. I've just been sat in my toilet paper empire watching the fucking world collapse around me.
I know, the toilet paper bullshit is ridiculous, isn't it?
And only inviting a select amount of people into the home, such as yourself.
Yeah. It's like all the toilet paper stuff is a bit ridiculous. You think, well, 2 weeks is a recommended isolation, so how much shitting do you think you're going to be doing in that 2 week period? Presumably they think the symptoms of coronavirus is just solid diarrhoea, just a constant stream of diarrhoea. You can't stop shitting.
The other funny thing is the people have bought a lot of rice and pasta, and rice especially, or what it does with me, if you're banging enough rice, you get bummed up anywhere.
Yeah.
So if you're smashing in rice, you don't need much toilet roll. And it comes out like, when it does come out, it comes out like rock, like stone,
good,
like
good
quartz.
Hard stool.
Yeah. I mean, you could fucking carve it and make some fucking shapes out of it.
Who knows what will come out of this? Who knows what isolation does to people? People start carving up their own turds, making turd sculptures, then so be it. That's a new art that maybe needs to be out there. Who knows?
Maybe it'll bump our podcast.
Yeah.
Bump the viewers up. You've got people sat at home.
Yeah.
Not much to do. It'll be like the 1930s where they're listening out for Tom and Nath's great ideas. You know, steering the direction of the country, keeping the population positive.
Yeah. If anything, I hope this ages well and it attracts a massive swathe of popularity long after I'm dead. In 2 years from coronavirus.
Dig up some USBs in 200 years' time.
But I know it won't be popular among the chav community, because evidence has suggested to me that it isn't going down very well with certain crowds, and the chavs, they resent me talking like I do on this.
They're trying to stifle your freedom of speech.
Yeah, I get it. I get that some people would listen to this and go, who does he think he is, talking away and putting it out there as if his voice is really important and we're supposed to listen. It's an intrusion to some people, but I also resent the fact that you won't let me do it. Some people, these filthy bastard chav cunts who don't get what I'm about and never have. It's constantly been a burden for me that I've gone throughout my working life, where there is a significant percentage of people who just don't understand me and don't understand the creative mind specifically. I'm not saying I'm some sort of revolutionary creative sort of a guy and people should really take more notice of me, but at least allow me to be me.
I think the problem with it is sometimes you've got to decode the comedy.
Yeah.
And when you've got to decode it, then that's going into a different realm. I mean, maybe we should just drop a few racist one-liners and keep certain stratas of the population happy.
Yeah.
Maybe bring them on board potentially with a few things like that.
If you have like a Strongbow Dark Fruit segment where we just go on about how great Strongbow Dark Fruit is, or Reebok trainers, how great they were in the 90s. Adidas poppers, they were great as well.
Yeah.
Stealing bikes from garages, that's a good segment for them, I think. Or just spitting in the street.
Yeah. That's
another one that might appeal to them.
I think we could do a show and tell as well. I could maybe dig out my old Kappa jumper and talk about how I used to smack my missus about when I had a few kestrels.
Yeah, we could do a separate episode every now and again just for them, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because it would probably be quite easy to do, really. Yeah. But it annoyed me that certain people sort of think that they can come up to me and start fucking slagging me off, but there you go. I suppose you should expect it when you do these things, that it's not going to appeal to everybody, and that's that. But it's the audacity of people, you
strike me as the type of man that would get stronger off criticism.
Well, you'd be wrong, because I don't take it well, and I never have done, ever. And I think like people really close to me have picked up on that, and that's why I'm somewhat of a figure of ridicule in a lot of circumstances, really. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I don't take criticism well, so it's two things that make me quite vulnerable to a lot of criticism coming at a frequent rate, unfortunately.
What's your reaction to criticism?
It depends who it's from as well.
There's a thing that I do like about the chav community is that it's all about full-on aggressive responses.
Yeah.
And deflection. So if you touch upon anything sensitive with somebody, they'll instantly turn it into a fight.
Yeah.
So you could be talking, you could have a normal conversation, where you've been, what you've been up to, and then it's like, what you fucking looking at, mate? Yeah. And you've kind of got to get through them barriers to get to the soul of the person inside.
Yeah. It's this
to break down them walls.
It seems like that's impossible with certain people because they don't have the emotional depth. It's like you say, it's instant aggressive response to these things that they don't like. So if you were to try and sort of go, hey, are you okay, mate? Are you all right? Do you want to? Who's hurt you? What is it that's making you act this way? It's not going to fly. It's not going to fucking appeal to them. It's just going to create more and more aggressive bullshit, and it's just, it doesn't work with some people, does it? I think, but it depends on the circumstances, I suppose. If you find a quiet corner when they're on their own, and you go, hey, we're all right. You're in a safe space. Let's be friends. Then maybe that's what you need to do. I don't know.
I think so. Yeah.
But some people just don't seem worth that effort.
I don't think they can conduct possibly or find it difficult in a situation where there's more than one people. Like you say, if you've got in Tom's safe space, it'd be a nice conversation. Or if there was sat here right now, it'd be a nice conversation. But the more people there are, the more
in a workplace,
it needs to be like a theatrical moment.
Yeah, you need to time it right, don't you? And I think in a workplace it's harder than usual as well, because you're around a lot of people usually, and it's like you say, the less people the better. Plus, it's usually banter in a workplace, isn't it? That's the typical lingo. That's how people conduct themselves.
Banter's usually a constant level, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think we spoke about this before, a few podcasts ago, but do you think there's anything that you can do where when somebody's banter is maybe getting the better of you, or they're getting more laughs, is there anything that you can do? Is that there's like almost like a get out clause? It's like it's just either silences everyone or just stops the situation dead.
Yeah. I can think that's probably one of the reasons why that kept on coming up for me. Not just when you sat in meetings, but also because, like you say, when you're in a situation where you desperately want to get out of something like someone insulting you, wouldn't it be great if you could trump them by doing something like shitting yourself? Or, yeah. Or just suddenly shouting and screaming something really obscure for no apparent reason, where you freak everybody out and people just leave you alone. It's quite an appealing concept. I don't know.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting one. It'd be interesting to find out at what level you would have to hit where people go, I'm not even going to fucking speak to him anymore. I mean, if you shit yourself accidentally in the workplace, that's you're going to get no pun intended, but you're going to get a lot of shit.
Yeah.
But if you do it in an aggressive manner, making eye contact, fucking solid eye contact with everybody, people are going to go, is he worth messing about with?
Is that the idea you said last time when we were discussing that you could blame someone else for you shitting yourself? That's the overall win. That's the perfect win. That look what you've done. Look what you've done to me. You've made me do that now. Like, look what I'm going to have to clear up because of you. That's perfect. I might do that one day. It might be the only solution one day. Finally sick of the bullshit. Shit myself. Blame other people. And then leave.
I think it's a commitment that I think people have naturally built into their personality, where their instant reaction is to blame other people. You might have spoke to somebody before where you've seen them do something and you go, oh, you've done it wrong, or don't do it like that, and they just go, no, I haven't, that wasn't me. Or they say something and you say, oh, no, but Ellie, you said this, and they was like, no, I didn't say that. It's like, fuck off, we were both there. You know and I know. But it's them certain type of people that can just do it, and they do it profusely. They just deny it.
Yeah, they spent their whole life just thinking that none of the blame lands on them ever. It's not a perfect strategy, is it? But I think it depends how well you've done it over the years. You think if you can just twist people's memories, it'd be brilliant, wouldn't it?
Well, this stuff's kicking in. I plan on getting absolutely fucking smashed and just...
Yeah. After listening back to the third episode...
Pressuring you into kind of holding it all together.
I got quite drunk on the wine last time. Nearly shamed myself, really, but somewhat held it together.
I think you did really well.
Yeah.
And I think the last one was the golden standard.
Yeah, I hope so.
Do you think we can ever reach beyond that? I think that's it. We've hit the peak and now it's...
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to keep doing these. I'm sure your game to do as many more as possible, and then I don't care. We'll see. But the last episode we discussed Philip Schofield's coming out, and it attracted somewhat a negative reaction from one particular person who has actually emailed me quite an angry response, and I'll just find that and read it out.
Okay.
Because I think it's fair to get both sides of the story, isn't it? Because you don't just want to assume that it's all about us and it's not about the listener.
Is this the fan mail section that you was
going
to open up into?
It's not really a fan mail segment for this, but
particular one.
Not this particular one, no. But if people do want to write fan mail in after this episode, then I'll be glad to receive it. Or even angry anti-fan letter. What would the opposite of fan be? Cunt, yeah, cunt. So the email reads, Dear Tom, I don't know what made you think you could record yourself dissecting Philip Schofield's coming out and laughing about it as if it's funny. I'd like to see you do something as brave. That'll be the day, you fucking woeful waste of space. You don't have a fucking clue what it is to be wrestling with your identity because you're a boring, simple twat with little to no friends. I hope you feel stupid reading this and regret ever contemplating a man such as Philip Schofield's life because he is a million times the man you will ever be. You're just fuck yourself, sorry. You scum-sucking pond life. And then it said it would be signed in shit if it was a real letter. It's not actually... The email address is one that's obviously been made up, and I don't know who wrote it, but it's quite a lot of venom in there.
It's quite powerful, isn't it?
Yeah, they really meant what they said, obviously. So maybe we're out of bounds discussing Philip Schofield's coming out, and maybe I've learnt a lesson from it. But it was only the one email, so I think if another celebrity came out and I was to go and discuss it, it hasn't quite stopped me doing that, really. But
I thought you had some positive talking points about it.
Yeah, I think I tried...
Open-minded, broad.
I tried to be neutral on the subject, but...
I think you're neutral on every subject, pretty much.
Yeah, we try and keep it fairly that way, don't we? But you got to be careful with discussing celebrities, haven't you? Because there's always a die-hard fan base who just won't let you talk about them at all. I think on the last episode, amongst the people discussed, I think we discussed Craig David. That was one of them, and who knows, there might be a die-hard fan base out there that'll listen to that and go, how dare they discuss his taking off of the hat?
Yeah.
Let him do what he wants to do.
I think we mentioned Razorlight as well.
Yeah. And even though that seemed harmless at the time, some people, die-hard fans of Razorlight, would go, no, they wouldn't do a jingle for Naif's Meat Van, because they're above that. Despite the fact they're not really that famous as such anymore, they're not in the limelight anymore, they're still above Meat Van jingles.
I reckon they'll still be doing university gigs.
Probably, yeah.
But I would like to say that I did actually, in the name of comedy and humour, was going to try and learn a Razorlight song. And I did actually learn the intro to it, but I've forgotten it because of how mediocre it actually was.
Yeah.
It was hard to retain in memory.
Yeah. Razorlight was the first name that jumped out at me when contemplating bands who were going to do you a jingle, because they are just a simple sort of a band, aren't they? Right, little cheeky riffs and they stick in your head, and it would have been perfect. I'm still wanting it to happen. I still hope that they do find us one day and we do get that together. Will it be awkward for you when they proposition you about this and you really have to go and do your Meat Van?
No, it's always been a dream.
Good.
Really.
Good.
So
if that came to fruition, I think we'd all be happy. Because I often wonder what's going to happen the day someone rings up about hiring an amp from me. Because as much as I like to make people believe it's a real business, Tom's Empire isn't, as you know. But
it does sound like a lot like Tom's Empire as well. I just realised.
As I said, my mum came round last night and I asked her if she wanted a Tom's Empire t-shirt, and she said no, and I think what you're doing is going too far. And I was like, what do you mean? I'm not making any profits out of this, it is just for a laugh. She said, yeah, well, it began as a joke and now you've gone too far with it. And I sat there thinking, well, I don't know what you mean at all. I think it's all just still a joke to me. I get that it's gone on a little bit too long for some people. There are times when I'm getting these t-shirts printed off where I think, have I gone insane? Because it started off as a fake business that was supposed to be about renting amps, and it's gone on to making t-shirts for close friends, and even people who aren't close friends now. There's a lot of people asking about it. So,
well, to be fair, you've got a really good cover and front for laundering money through now.
Yeah.
Even if you're not selling amps, I mean, all that money you're making off fucking amphetamines, you can spin it through Tom's Empire.
Yeah.
From Tom's Empire. Eh? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just like, I'm a real shit Walter White. A really, really diabolical one.
Tom's Empire. They're naming ketamine.
A ketamine empire. Wow. It'd be interesting to know who is involved with the ketamine empire. I bet they're quite interesting folk. I remember watching a Vice documentary about this old bloke. Well, it was just some dweeb, as Vice reporters often are, like really the dweebiest of dweebs. And he went to meet this old bloke in the middle of the desert somewhere in America, and they had a great time on ketamine, I think. It's one of those drugs that it just attracts the most weirdest of people. And if you've got an empire built on it, then I dread to think what sort of person you are. Insane. Have you ever been tempted to buy a star as a gift for someone?
A star?
Yeah.
Like stickers?
No, the proper stars that are in the sky.
Okay, yeah, so it's like an adopt a donkey kind of thing.
Yeah.
You don't actually get it.
Well, no, adopt a donkey would make more sense because it probably is charity based, isn't it? Where you give the poor donkey some money.
Yeah. I've never thought about it. Although, not to digress too much, but back in the 90s, I think it was Cocoa Pops or the Kellogg's range were doing moon dust. I think I've still got it somewhere.
Really?
So it was this laminated card, and within the card it was like where you have your chip and pin usually. It was like a see-through bit, like a containment bit, and there was literally like a speck of dust in there.
Wow.
But apparently it's from the moon. You know?
Well, yeah, you won't get away with that these days. Because you think, well, that's just blatant lies. And you... I don't know. Well, I don't know.
A
Was
laminated
it?
piece of dirt from fucking Surrey or something.
Yeah, probably. But unless it was true, unless Kellogg's got hold of a load of real moon dust, is that possible? Is it likely? Maybe. Kellogg's are a big company.
Yeah.
Maybe they forked out.
I don't know how much they brought back. I mean, they did land on the moon quite a few times.
Yeah. Real moon rock in museums is probably... I don't know if it even really appeals to me, really. It's just... Yeah, I get that it's not from our planet, but still. Anyway. But there is an abundance of people who buy stars for loved ones, and they're supposed to be... You know, people are expected to believe that that's their star now.
Well, the problem I see in it is I think there's a fair few businesses that run on this same model. How many times has that star been bought?
Yeah.
I mean,
so the
sun is quite an obvious one. We can all spot that one. That's an easy one.
I wonder how much the sun would be.
But if you're buying, I don't know, Kepler XY7Z, which is fucking 50 million light years away, and you need a fucking 200 times telescope to see it, what's the point in that?
I don't know. And like you say, the same star will be bought again and again and again. So come the day that we achieve amazing space travel and we're reaching these stars, and Jeff, who's inherited the star from his distant relative, turns up and meets Bob, who's also inherited that star, and they go, well, this is my planet.
Yeah.
So, you know, is a star a planet? A star could be a planet, couldn't it? I don't know. If you see a star in the sky, it could even be dead.
Yeah.
But
it's just the light travelling.
The planets appear as stars. You can see planets just the same as...
Yeah, they reflect light, like the moon.
So some people might even be buying planets and not knowing, because we continue to find more planets as the days go by.
But there's always somebody willing to sell you that shit.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to.
And you sat there with your certificate at home, real proud of yourself, thinking, that's my star. And occasionally you might get your telescope out and you'll find it, and you probably won't be right about where it is every time. You're probably looking at a different star every time because you're deluded.
Yeah.
And you're full of shit.
And fucking Barry down the road's printed you a certificate off on it, signed it.
Despicable people.
I mean, you don't need to be an expert to sell stars, do you?
No. There's someone...
Or objects in the sky.
Yeah. What else can you sell that's like that? I don't know. It's just...
Well, I'd say it's the same with the adoption process of animals as well. Especially if it's in a different country.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be just different angles of the same donkey, which has been dead for about 15 years.
And that money that you send...
And it turns out there's about 800 people across the UK who have been led into believe that these donkeys are getting the best of treatment.
When in fact it's for funding someone's drug habit.
Yeah. Who just happens to have shitloads of pictures of a donkey.
It's so good an idea now.
Maybe that's another business that's got out of hand.
Yeah, most things probably begin as jokes, don't they? And I think, when he sat there with all the pictures of donkeys and he wondered what to do, You think, well, yeah, well, go for it and see how much money I can make out of this.
1 minute he's getting the neighbours to adopt it, next minute it's going nationwide, and the ball's rolling too fast for him to.
It's so stop. Good an idea that I wish I'd have thought of that. Really,
fuck
Tom's disposable clothes, Tom's disposable donkeys. Should have been what I thought of. As a dad, how have you found raising a child?
Difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a dad, so it's something I thought I'd try and get out of you. You know, how have you found it? You've got a young daughter. How old is she now?
10.
And I'm sure she's a treat to be around and a great thing. I've always wanted kids, but it's never really happened for me for whatever reason. But it might happen one day. Who knows? And
always adopt one.
Yeah, I've discussed that with Emily before. Actually, yeah, you never know. But it's an exciting prospect, and I'm sure it's difficult for most people. I mean, Christ, when you've got a fresh child, fresh out of the batch, fresh out of the oven, and you think, wow, I've got to do everything for this child, and I've got to basically teach them about life. It's a fucking daunting thing, isn't it? I mean, where do you begin? What the hell do you do?
I found quite a, possibly, maybe we say, kind of on the spectrum, autistic approach to child rearing, where you just straight up treat them as an adult, straight from the start.
Right.
It's like, why are you shitting yourself? Why are you not going to sleep?
Yeah.
And there's a powering difference as well. It's like, you know, you're the one that is, you know, looking after them.
Yeah.
Everything's in your hands.
All the responsibility.
So there is a lot of pressure.
I've always thought I'd be a good dad, but until you do it, you don't really know, do you? I mean, Christ.
I think I'd say everyone's a good parent, but yeah,
it's a certain.
As long as you hit a certain level of knowledge, you can't say it without
Would you say
being offensive.
Yeah, would you say certain things come automatically to most people?
Yeah.
You would hope so.
I think as long as you've got a good moral compass and you know your rights and your wrongs, then you can't go too far wrong.
Yeah, I suppose so.
So, and as long as you've not got extremely strict or loose parenting styles.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't be like, you know, trying to pawn them off with a bag of ket at 12 years old.
No.
And say, get down the park and go and play with fucking Timmy and Jimmy. But then you can't be on the other end of the spectrum where you're like, well, you can't go outside because
the coronavirus.
Yeah, it's too windy.
Yeah, you have to be a happy medium, I suppose. I dread to think, in a way, what I'd be like, because I've got probably too short a temper for my own liking. I like to think it's mellowed over the years, but having a child and the strains that come with raising one, you think, well, fucking hell, I hope that I wouldn't end up shouting and screaming and scaring the life into my child. Because, you know, thinking back to what it was like for me growing up, me and my mum used to shout at each other constantly because it was all the communication we knew. It's difficult for my mum being a single parent and me being the child I was. I wouldn't wish that on any parent, the sort of child I was at all. And to think if I was in the same boat doing the same thing, it'd be obviously everything I wanted to avoid, but certain things just repeat themselves because it's just habit forming, isn't it, I suppose? You think?
Well, I think if you're aware of it, then you know it's a point of that you're consciously going to try and work towards changing.
Yeah.
Because you know how it's directly affected you.
Yeah.
So I think just naturally, as long as you've got the capacity to understand yourself and how actions shape people, then
you go two ways, can't it? I think like people take what they've learnt in their own childhood and then try and go against it in raising their own children, or you just repeat the same thing because it's all you know. Yeah, it depends on the individual, doesn't it? I think
repeating is they're both bad, but I think the one that most people will recognise is somebody repeating the same piss poor behaviours that they've been brought up with.
Yeah.
But not necessarily for any fault of their own.
Yeah, it's just because it's all you know, I suppose. Yeah. You think that the best thing you could do is just think, well, all the things I didn't really enjoy about my childhood, I'm going to avoid in raising my own child. But who knows? Certain things, like you say, you probably can't really avoid because you think, well, doing my best, but I'm still a bit of a dickhead, so I'll always be a dickhead.
But that's where you can direct it. So if you do get frustrated, then when you're picking up the kids in the playground, you know, there's plenty of other parents to...
Yeah.
You know...
Some perspective, yeah.
To intimidate.
Yeah.
Which I would absolutely love to see.
What, me trying to intimidate other people's parents?
No, just in a schoolyard with your own child.
Yeah.
Just intimidating the parents. Possibly the teachers as well.
Yeah, it's often said about me that I come off as a bit of a murderer. It's come up quite a lot at work recently. I keep on getting called Peter Sutcliffe is the one that's doing the rounds at the moment. I have been called Ted Bundy before as well. So, you know, just gradually working through the list. Maybe in later life I'll get Jeffrey Dahmer if I bleach my hair or something. I don't know. So yeah, I think in a way it's helped because you warn people about yourself without even saying a word. Because it's just the way I conduct myself and my face in general suggests that I should be avoided. And I don't even mean to do it, but I suppose it's probably what I intend subconsciously. But I don't know.
So do you think people look at you and go, that man's got some secrets under his patio?
A lot of people suggest that, yeah. But I keep on saying it's probably the one you least expect. From what I know of murderers, they're very good at conducting themselves. And they're quite, you know, it's not obvious at all what they're up to until the last moment when they're in cuffs. But, so it's not me. I'm not killing people, just for anybody interested in knowing that, for the record.
Have you thought of playing on it, though? You thought of, like you just said about bleaching your hair, you thought of going into it and method acting it out, really scaring the fucking shit out of some of your co-workers.
So much of it comes naturally to me anyway, because I think it's just my face and eye contacts that I make with people. When I think back to, like, in school, in year 9 in school, one of my teachers decided that I wasn't making enough eye contact with people for whatever reason, because she was probably worried I was slightly autistic. So I got a little bit of counselling in secondary school, where the main reason,
eye contact.
yeah, just about eye contact, and it stuck with me for the rest of my life. And it never dawned on me up until that point that I wasn't really looking at people when I was speaking, and I notice it every time I speak to people now, more or less, that should I be looking at them? Should I be looking at them? And I think doing that in certain circumstances and depending on the tone of the conversation, it's somewhat intimidating for certain people, because if you look at them directly in the eyes when you're trying to get argumentative, it's quite effective. And people think, fucking hell, this guy's a bit over the top. But I probably am a little bit autistic, I don't fucking know. But that teacher, I don't know, does eye contact helps in later life. It helps you whatever stage you're in life, and it probably has helped me in certain circumstances. And then, like I've said, in other ways, it probably hasn't helped me because it does come across as a little bit intimidating. So it's funny the way things work. It really is.
It has come up quite a bit throughout the podcast. I do like it. It's an interesting part of human beings.
What, psychology in general, or what?
Just eye contact.
Yeah,
It's one of many small nuanced behaviours like body language.
Yeah,
that can portray a lot.
Yeah, I think I notice it in other people when people avoid it. It's quite obvious. You think, well, fucking hell, we've had about a half-hour conversation. You haven't looked at me once, and it's just a little bit of a weird thing, really. I don't know what it's down to. You know, it's just one of those. But
apparently, it can be quite trippy if you look into somebody's eyes.
Yeah.
But maintain eye contact, and once. I don't know if there's a magic number to it, but if you're just staring at somebody for a long period of time,
yeah, I've heard that before. Actually, yeah,
I don't think you go to full on hallucinations as though you've just done a pipe of fucking
DMT. Yeah. But yeah, there is something weird about it. I can't maintain it for too long because it does get weird, doesn't it? You think, fucking hell, I'm freaking this person out now. But it still is important because I think people feel like you're engaging more with them. So there's a fine line.
That's the main one.
Yeah.
You've noticed a lot of people don't shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
When they talk, they'll often make quite a lot of eye contact.
Yeah, because they're worried that they're losing you.
Yeah, and especially like I would say myself, where it's difficult to, if somebody's on a roll, you kind of like, well, I kind of don't want to interrupt them, and you go through the process of, is it rude?
Yeah.
Because you get people on the other end of the spectrum where they'll just walk off, or just start talking over you, or have no acknowledgement for what you've just said and go off on a completely different subject.
I hate it. People who can't
blatantly know that they've not listened to a word you've said.
Yeah, there's nothing worse in my mind than people who just can't listen. And it's conversation to some people is a competition, and it should never be that. It should always be a case of we're just exchanging views on the same subject, not trying to outdo each other and go, well, my input's better than your input because I've got this to add. And it's some people just can't help but do it all the time. It's like, well, yeah, but shut up. Anyway, I'm talking. And it's like, fucking hell.
I think it's how some people observe the conversation. So when you're saying something, mate, I could be thinking one or two things. I could either be thinking, what do I say next about me that's based off what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Or I go the other end of the spectrum and go, I'm going to inquire more about what you said in your story.
Yeah.
And I think it's finding a balance, a nice balance in between. Because one end, you just talk about the other person, you don't put any of your own anecdotes and input in.
Yeah.
The other one, you're just bouncing straight off what they've said and cramming all your fucking shit in and not acknowledging what the other person said.
Yeah, it depends how you do it, doesn't it, really? If you just instantly go off on some weird tangent that's only to do with you, and it I don't know. It's just certain conversations I've had with certain people in the past where you think, I can't have conversations with you because it's just not going to fucking work. Because we don't respect each other enough. But there you go.
I like that. It was like little tech time, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good.
Technical talk. I just thought I'd say as well, I got some fan mail. It came through to the personal account rather than the podcast account. And I think, by the general consensus, the person is quite happy, with the whole podcast. I mean, it was nothing but praise, to be honest.
Well, that's good.
There was a bit of sexual tension towards the end. That's how I perceived it, anyway.
Yeah.
It was talking about fisting or something, or hitting. So, but, I mean, that's kind of affects, both our voices have on someone, then I'm not complaining.
Yeah, someone has said something about the sound of my voice, and I was delighted with that, because I always sort of was under the assumption that I did have a nice voice, and now it's been confirmed. So the erection I got after that was, well, it took a good hour to fight that off. Massive.
Unwavering.
Yeah, really. One that you really had to wrestle with for quite a significant amount of time.
Maybe there's something in there. Maybe it'd only work for a small amount of the population, but those with erectile dysfunction, compliment therapy. So you go around and give us some really nice compliments.
That'll probably work for a lot of people, I imagine. I think we've probably stumbled upon something quite great there.
Yeah,
definitely. It's all about self-confidence, isn't it? So if you're struggling to maintain erection or get one in general, you suddenly start complimenting them, going, "You've got a great penis. It's fantastic. Don't worry about it if it's even not erect. It's still a great penis, And your hair's nice. I like your clothes.
Oh, it's twitching.
It's a nice thought, isn't it?
It's getting there.
Yeah. I wonder if that goes on. Actually, it'd be nice, wouldn't it? There's probably sexual health clinics where there's people sat there going on about how great people are. Yeah, I like your trainers, they're nice. And then people going home and fucking their wives instantly.
Yeah. But you've got to get in there. You've got to be at the vanguard of progressive therapy.
Yeah.
Maybe you're the one to do it.
Well, maybe.
Get your own little corner in.
I could rent a unit, couldn't I, and just put an advert in the paper and say, come on down if you're suffering from sexual problems of any description, if you cluster headaches, I think I can probably solve them. You're worried about your family getting ill, I'll just compliment the hell out of that.
Yeah.
And then we'll be fine.
I don't know if you can buy them. I'm sure you can. You probably have to import them from China. But do you ever remember some of the toys that you get? And it was about the size of a Tamagotchi, little plastic case, and it had about 6 buttons on it.
Yeah.
And it'd be based off either a cartoon or a film. The A-Team, I remember having one for the A-Team, and it's got the buttons, but it's got voiceovers on it.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're just little clips of...
there's a Mr. T one, wasn't there?
Yeah, that was it, yeah. I just thought you could, as part of the homework in the therapy sessions,
Just what? You press the button and you receive a compliment?
Yeah, like pre-recorded compliments, and you've got 6 to choose from, of you just going, you're doing great.
Yeah, I like your hat. Great job today, thanks. Thanks for being you. I think it would work for some people, definitely. If you're carrying that around. Imagine being on the bus and someone's pressing that. Great penis. So sad thinking, oh right, he's just suffering from lack of confidence. That's fine. Yeah.
And imagine people using it in a disastrous events as well. If you're on a plane that's maybe lost an engine or two and is plummeting, losing altitude really fast, and everyone's screaming, and you've just got one dude at the front with his fucking Tom's Therapy Tamagotchi, just going
pressing the buttons frantically. Great job. You're doing fine. Great trainers. Where did you get them? Yeah. The rest of the people are sat there thinking, I wish I had one of them. I really wish I had one of them. Wow. I'd feel much better.
No need for benzos.
Back, and it's time for the quick fire round, which I thought went well last time, apart from the one subject, but no, we'll disregard that.
Yeah,
and we'll go again. So we'll say 2 minutes again. Quickly go through just what first thing that comes to your mind. Disagree or agree, whatever. Just gotta get it out there.
I'll have a little comment on it.
Yep. Just like you did last time. Just say, okay.
Yeah.
So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and ghosts.
Well, I've seen loads of them.
Yeah.
I think everyone agrees.
Definitely exist. Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely exist.
All over the place. Aliens.
Yeah. Well, that moon dust I was talking about earlier.
Evidence enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
Vampires.
Yeah. I've seen a few movies.
Well, they're probably documentaries more than they are movies, aren't they?
I think so. Yeah, I think Twilight's based off a true story.
Yeah, most likely. Werewolves.
Yeah. Again,
Same
loads
thing,
of documentaries.
Yeah, exactly.
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot's probably a werewolf.
Yeah.
Okay. Dale Winton.
No,
don't think he ever existed, did he?
No.
Male person.
I think it was created for game shows.
Yeah.
But I think it was like Morph.
Well, mostly plasticine.
Yeah. I think it was animated.
Yeah. Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah.
Definitely exists. Probably seen every day by Scottish people, and just they don't tell people about it.
Yeah. The problem they've never don't see it much because it changes into different locks.
Yeah. Maybe it's shape-shifting as well.
Possibly, yeah.
Who's to say? Abortion.
Yeah.
You don't agree with it, or you agree?
I agree.
You agree about...
I agree with abortion, yeah.
You want to get abortions. You want abortions.
Yeah.
Right, tea bags.
Tea bags?
Tea bags.
Is this... Isn't that an act?
Yeah, it's an act, but whichever one you want to talk about, whichever one that first comes to your mind.
Teabagging's great, yeah.
Yeah, it is great. You're right. And we've gone through the list in less than 2 minutes this time. It's 1 minute and 45 seconds. Brilliant.
Ooh, very close.
But
yeah.
I must say, you basically failed on abortion once again. And, you know, it's going to keep on coming back until we get it right. I've got to say, just one of these days, you know, we'll be on the same level. Minds will meet and it'll all be fine. But it's just, it's a tricky one, isn't it, for you, obviously. Not for me. You just don't abort children. You just don't.
Well, your superior moral compass is
yeah,
is evident.
Yeah. Is there any more thoughts on Dale Winton, for instance?
Dale Winton,
supermarket sweep fame.
Oh yeah, brilliant
guy.
Yeah.
I think he did the National Lottery quite a bit as well.
It was robbed of his celebrity status.
He's dead now, isn't he? I'm sure he's dead.
Not in my heart.
No, but was he ever even real? But there was a constant suspicion that he was gay throughout his entire career because it was basically obvious that he was. But he is another one that may have had a show wife. But from what I remember of his wife, she was.
You've got quite a lot of knowledge on these show wives, haven't you? and gay men.
Yeah, I just think it's funny, isn't it, that people still do that. But anyway, yeah, I think his show wife was some massive fat woman who looked like she probably wore the trousers. So maybe there was some truth to that, and he was actually a straight man who just happened to be quite camp. Because if you're just quite a feminine man and you've got quite a dominant big wife, then that's probably even then, isn't it? That's a meeting of the dynamic.
It like reaches an equilibrium.
Yeah.
Balance.
I'm not saying it's wrong or right for people to be with certain individuals to counterbalance their own personalities, and that's the order of things. That's the way relationships should be. I'm just saying it happens to happen.
Yeah.
That's all.
That would be quite a rigid and almost autistic spectrum way to think.
Yeah. So if you were walking around dismantling couples based on the personality traits and going, no, because the dynamic here is all wrong, she isn't dominant to counterbalance your femininity, so split up immediately. Imagine if there was probably some couples counsellors out there that would probably gone a little bit over the top, probably in America I imagine, where they turned basically into Nazis and they're going, no, I've developed an idea for what works in a relationship, and so when I see quite an effeminate man, I'm expecting a dominant woman, and if that isn't the case, then I'm recommending they split up.
It sounds like some crazy ass psychotherapy that would probably exist back in the day.
Yeah. How often do you think it is these days that certain therapists get a power trip about them and they just think they can go and do what they like?
Well, just for the record, the whole teaching is to not come across as the expert.
Yeah.
So the traditional way of I'm the expert, you're the one that looks up to me. It's more of a mutual thing,
yeah.
Because it's only the person with the problems that understand the problems best.
Yeah.
It's because an expert knows a few theories and models and has experience working with people doesn't mean that they know that person's problem.
No. Yeah, it's more of a kind of diluted...
But scrap that shit. Yeah, I'm all up for the...
yeah. I mean...
Fucking bring back the tweed suits, the pen and the paper. Yeah. Basically tell people what the problems are. Don't give them a chance to fucking speak.
Yeah.
And prescribe them. I mean, we've got loads of medications now. I mean, whatever you want, there's a medication for it. Yeah,
I don't doubt. I think it's maybe like more private medical care, or maybe more of an American thing, where it still is a bit old school, where you're getting direct sort of advice, whereas NHS counselling is more of a diluted sort of, like you say, we're on an equal basis here and I'm not telling you what to do. You're just talking and I'm just reflecting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the Americans go ham-fisted at a lot of things, don't they?
That's the impression I got. I might be wrong. I don't know.
Well, it's portrayed in movies. They use a lot of psychotherapy style in movies.
Yeah. It's like watching Sopranos. The entire basis of that series is that Tony Soprano's maybe going to fuck his therapist. But the counselling he receives off her is a sort of direct thing where she's constantly saying, well, this is because of this and you need to do this. And it's like she's giving him advice constantly, whereas counselling, as you know it now, isn't like that, is it? It's more kind of back,
it's more of a
step back.
An agreement with between two people.
Yeah.
Between the therapist and the person.
Yeah.
So, but you can still offer advice, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and observations, and it's up to that person whether they believe that observation or want to think about it more. But you can't directly start just calling people out.
No.
Like, the reason you're a knobhead is because
yeah,
this and this.
Truth be told, I've actually been in counselling. I think it was once when I was 16 because of the hormones overwhelming me and because I was a general knobhead. And then again when I was around 23 or 22, that wasn't what I expected at all. It was a case of going there expecting just loads of advice to be given and sent away, like we just said about certain people's ideas of therapy and what it might have been before. It wasn't that at all. It was just a case of they're like a soundboard, not a soundboard, but someone who just listens to you.
Yeah. And
that's that, basically. They're just not really giving you much feedback at all. It's just a case of I'm listening to you and occasionally I'll say something and it's up to you what you do with it. It's not non-direct as possible. So,
well, there's quite a few different ones.
Yeah.
So there's more intense ones and there's less intense ones. But the general counselling is that you'll talk to somebody, they'll give like minimal input and they'll try and make you think and solve the issue yourself.
Yeah.
Through like clever dialogue.
Yeah.
But there is ones where they give you techniques and stuff like that, like especially with like self-harm.
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, the reason I was in there was just because of my fucking anger at the time. I was thinking, I need to do something about the fact I'm shouting and screaming all the time. So maybe there's something I can do about that. So I was sat there thinking, well, if there's some way it's going to be like anger management, where they sit there and they go, well, the reason you're angry is this, and if you just try and get over yourself, then it'll be fine.
Why don't you do a martial art or something?
I mean, it's not so much a problem anymore.
Oh.
The conclusions to that counselling that I received back when I was 20 odd was that they recommended some more sessions. I think I must have only had about 6, and they said, I'd like to keep seeing you, but it's up to you. And I said, you know what, I don't think I'm really getting anything from it. So I feel fine in myself. I've taken a little bit from what you've said, a little bit of advice here and there, and I'll go away with it and I'll try and do my own thing. One thing the guy did say to me is, you'll probably always be an angry guy that's shouting at people. And it hit home, it made me think, oh Christ, that's terrifying. So it was kind of like reverse psychology, really. I don't know.
It's weird because I've always thought you've been very chilled out.
Well,
with
yeah.
Very, very good sense of humour. Apart from the very first meeting, which I never actually knew you very well whatsoever.
Yeah.
I just knew that anger got the better of you, and
I like to think
a very good friend of mine took some damage to the face, I believe.
Yeah, the less said about that, the better. That's something I really am not proud of. But when I was 18 and unemployed, I was punching people left, right and centre because I obviously thought I was fucking really hard. And I think I got punched in my face a couple of times myself. And I think that's why my nose is now skew-whiff slightly, because outside Welly one night, I think someone hit me quite hard and I fell down face first. So maybe I did learn my lesson in the end, despite being drunk. But yeah, I think over the years I've mellowed quite a bit. I like to hope, and people would agree. But I think obviously a lot of people, when they're growing up, during their teenage years especially, they're just a bag of hormones and they're just a disgrace to themselves. So I think just at the beginning of my 20s, I was just finding a way out of that and sort of settling myself down quite a bit. And it's hopefully worked. But yeah,
it's quite a journey there.
Yeah,
from becoming quite possibly highly strung and aggressive and angry and tilted at quite a few things to just slowly mellowing into this deep, booming voiced, slightly racist but very mellow chap. It's quite a journey. It's a beautiful story.
For the record, I'm not slightly racist. But yeah, whatever. Yeah. Everyone's got their own fucking problems, haven't they? I think these days more than ever, it's talking about them that makes it easy for people. And I think I didn't really plan to come here today and start talking about being in counselling, but I suppose it shouldn't be something I'm ashamed of, really.
No.
I'm not, but...
Nobody's immune to...
No.
I mean, everyone's dumb. Can only take so much.
Yeah, exactly.
Pounding.
Yeah.
It's not in the physical sense, but in the emotional sense as well.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Lovely. Really nice. What would you do if that was actually a piece of music that was already out there and someone sued us? That'd be upsetting, wouldn't it?
I would definitely counteract it.
Yeah,
I'd
that's
definitely argue back.
It's ours, you dicks. Just fuck off. Nobody even listens to you, fucking Hanson.
Fuck, it didn't sound like Hanson, does it?
No.
Oh, sorry.
It'd be great if we got into a legal battle with Hanson, though. It'd be great publicity for them, if anything else. I think they'd be grasping our podcast to try and use...
Claw back what they had in Is it 90s?
Yeah.
Yeah, 99.
Yeah.
Is it Umbop?
Yeah, Umbop is the only song that they're known for. And I think maybe they dwindled on a little bit longer, but who cares?
There was another song as well, but I don't know where it's by a different band.
What? Isn't
Brimful of Asher by
Oh,
the Corner
yeah.
Shop. That was a different band, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's still on the radio a lot, actually. It's a good song.
But it would be horrible. I mean, learning guitar over the past 15 years and somebody going, you learn your own style, you've taken influences from here and there, and then somebody just kind of like pigeonholes it and goes, well, your style is Hanson. It'd be like the biggest kick in the fucking balls.
Yeah, Christ, I should have thought before I said Hanson, shouldn't I? That was quite bad. Fucking hell, imagine that. So neither of us have ever watched the programme Peaky Blinders, I understand. But the reason I have for that is that I get the impression that most people who watch it go away thinking they're pretty hard. And they buy the flat hats and they do the fancy dress thing where we go, oh, we're on Peaky Blinders, whoa. And it annoys me. And I don't know why, but I don't like the look of it, really, and everything that it's birthed.
I've never watched it, but you sound vehemently against this show. It sounds like it's not.
It's just something about it. It's the people who watch it. It's like, I think they think they're hard.
Is it set in London?
I don't know. Probably, yeah. I can imagine them walking around going, oh, I'm an hard bastard and I'm a Peaky Blinder. And that sounds about right. And yeah, the main star of the show's got a really distinct face, hasn't he, with like the piercing blue eyes. And he puts me off a bit as well. I forget what the hell else he's been in. I know he's been in films and things like that. And he's always probably played somewhat controversial characters. But it doesn't do it for me. I'm not happy with it. And I want it shutting down.
Yeah.
It's gone on too long. Too many series. And all the people on the fancy dress wearing the Peaky Blinders outfits should be stopped.
I've not watched it. I don't know. I know very little about it, but I'm on board with you.
Yeah.
You've got a powerful message.
Don't think it's doing anything good for people. I think it's probably only bad.
Yeah.
There's probably parents out there that are sure that their children are more violent because of Peaky Blinders, I imagine. And that's not the reason I want it stopped, but it's another reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep them piling. If anybody's got any reasons to stop Peaky Blinders from viewing, airing, recording.
Yeah.
It's
BBC responsible, isn't it? I think it's on BBC usually. I think. So,
I don't know.
Yeah, if the TV licensing fees change and they lose a massive amount of budget, programs like Peaky Blinders will be put a stop to instantly.
Yeah.
So,
I think they should bring back more game shows. ITV are absolutely hammering it with the coin dropping one.
Yeah. What the hell's that called? It's called coin drop.
Coin drop. The drop.
The drop.
Big pennies.
Yeah.
What is it called?
Who cares? We all
Tipping point.
Tipping point, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
And it is just like a giant 2p machine at the arcades, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
But with questions involved.
What pisses me off is that when you actually go to a proper 2p machine down, or should I say up in Scarborough or Bridlington, you know, the glorious northern spa towns that have been neglected since the Victorian era, but play a massive part in my childhood.
Oh, mine too, definitely.
And upbringing.
Yeah.
And the home of the 2p machines is on the show. A proper 2p machine has big fucking holes on either extreme left and right end.
They didn't consider that, did they?
Which swallows the money.
Yeah, they're a massive part of that, actually. Now you come to mention it, they're real fucking shitter in the 2p machines. Think the number of fucking 2p's that I've lost down there when I'm trying to win a bouncy ball. Yeah. Or a stick of
fucking Chupa Chup.
Yeah, a really old Chupa Chup that's been in there about 2 weeks and really isn't edible anymore. But it's worth it. The thrill that I feel on those 2p machines is uncomparable. I'll still go back there and do it even to this day, now and again. It's fucking brilliant. It's much better than any other gambling, I think, because there's actually a prize. There's a physical prize. And it
always changes as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, you never know what might be in there, but there's always something in there that you might like the look of. Yeah, I find anyway.
I think there's quite a lot of focus on key rings.
Yes,
if you're into your key rings, definitely the place to be.
I'm not normally into key rings until I see them in the 2p machine, and then suddenly you spent about £5 on a sparkly Pikachu key ring in Scarborough, which is actually what happened not so long ago.
There was a popular phase, maybe a decade and a half ago, of squeezy shitting animals.
Oh yeah, I remember them. They were brilliant.
But I got a Pikachu one, and I didn't understand why. Why
indeed?
Add it to that.
Well,
it was a squishy one, and you'd squish it, and it had a little hole in it, and a little bag would expand and come out with its arsehole. And I thought, it's a kid's toy. Why does it need to have a fucking on command?
You often wonder
pals.
Who makes these things for the arcades, because there's some things that just look completely bizarre. These don't belong anywhere, and who wants these?
Do you know what I think it is? Because obviously a lot of them are manufactured in China,
Taiwan or something like that.
Yeah, I think there's somebody in head department going, the fucking Westerners are gonna love this, and they churn out like 50,000 of the fuckers and ship them over. Realise that nobody wants them because it's completely in bad taste and not in the Western's interest. And they'll find themselves in a. They'll be put on a keyring.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like, well, I can't sell these. Put it on a fucking.
Put on a keyring.
Get it in a machine.
Brilliant. Seaside's notorious for stuff like that. It's not just the 2p machines. I think I went to Filey last year sometime, and there's just a squeezable turd with eyes. And that's what they're selling now. I think it was about £1 or something like that, and you just squeeze a turd. What the fuck's that about? Do kids want that?
Was it in the shape of an emoji?
No, it was just a proper realistic turd. And I think actually, I saw it in Scotland first when I was up there in May, and then I came back down, saw one in fucking Filey. So it's nationwide squeezable turds. Crazy, isn't it? But I remember the sheep and the farm animals that you could squeeze with the turd coming out, and I had a sheep that did that, and I thought that was fantastic when I was young. So
makes sense on a sheep. What kind of novelty and fun?
Yeah. Why do kids
on
love
an innocent kid's toy? Yeah. Well, on an innocent character, should I say?
Yeah. Just whatever.
Like you wouldn't have a David Attenborough figure that shits. Yeah, it's just not appropriate, is it? But.
No, because they did it to Pikachu, like you said, so it's whatever's popular at the time. How can we get fucking human feces involved, or just something, I don't know.
Let's see, what's the other one? Pez.
Oh, yeah.
They were good.
I never really got into Pez. Amongst all the crazes when I was young, I just avoided Pez, I don't know why. because there wasn't a lot I did avoid. Yo-yos, pogs, Pokemon cards.
You still got any of them?
Pokemon cards, yeah. I've got an entire binder full.
Yes, I've still got loads. Well.
And I've got a shiny Charizard.
Yeah.
Which at times I'm quite close to putting on my CV, but always just about restrain myself just before I write it down. Just doesn't seem quite right, but it probably would get me a job somewhere.
Yeah, I reckon so. Yeah, if you push it in the interviews and that, if you're passionate about something.
Not a job I'd want, but you know.
Have you tried to sneak it in your driving license photo or your passport photo?
It'd be good, wouldn't it? We're just in the corner. So obviously the passport photo was quite small, and you had to really squint to actually make out what it is in the corner. Jesus Christ, that's a Chinese Charizard. Wow. Because they're supposed to be worth a lot of money now. I think last time I checked, it was maybe like in the reach of 200 to 300 quid.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a good sum.
Yeah, but it fluctuates, so it might come down quite a bit. It might go on. I don't know.
They put really strict ratings on the quality as well.
Yeah,
I've noticed. So you can get like the top grade, which is straight off the factory line, and then it starts going down, and like even just a slight curl, or even if the edges of the card are dirty,
all matters.
Yeah. And it knocks.
The thing that
knocks the grade down.
Quite interesting how I came about getting that Charizard card, because I remember me and my mate were down my street when I used to live down, and there was this little kid who just had it and was like, I didn't want this, just give us something for it. And I think I gave him a load of shit cards that I didn't even want, and he was like, let's have it. And the quality of it was quite bad, and I was thinking, well, it's still a card though, and it's great. But over time, being sat in the little ring binder that I've got, and that little plastic pouch that it's sat in, has somewhat resurrected it somehow, because when I got it, I remember it was in really dire fucking state, but now when I look at it, I go, that's flawless. It's amazing how it's somehow come back to life.
Is this the actual card rejuvenating itself, or is it your?
I think so.
Your rose tinted glasses just getting even more rose tinted throughout the years.
Yeah, nobody else sees it the same way. Every time I look at it, I think, Tom, that's in shit condition. I can't even tell what card it is. But I, in my mind, I've accomplished something so great that nothing can tarnish my view of it at all. Fucking amazing. And there
Beautiful.
You go. Have you got any Pokemon cards?
I've still got loads left.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
They're not in plastic pouches. They're just all piled up in a box.
Yeah. Good.
Waiting to. I think I'm going to sell them at some point, but that's never going to happen.
Yeah,
so they're probably going to go in the grave with us or in the incinerator.
I know, yeah. I think the same thing will happen to me one day. I don't know if anybody's really worthy of that Charizard card except from me, really. I think that's... Because it's got such a weird, mystical story behind it as well. Did that kid even exist? Was he a ghost? Probably so. Because who would have done that back in Pokemon Card Prime? Dishing out a fucking Charizard?
Yeah.
No matter what state it's in. No one in their right mind. Who did he think he was doing that? That kid. I don't need this.
I remember getting duped. You know, you get the energy cards, which were completely worthless.
Yeah.
But there was the rare energy cards, but you didn't see them very often.
Yeah, the normal one.
The normal
white one.
Yeah. And this dude was like, yeah, I got some of these, do you want some? And I swapped it for a shiny, and then walked off and was like, nah. This ain't right.
Nah.
And after a bit of back and forwards, I was like, well, we didn't fucking shake on it.
Yeah.
It's not a legit deal.
Caused a lot of friction between kids, didn't it? I got mine nicked out of my bag at school, and I was fucking devastated because, I don't know about you, but I was going to a little shop in town called Akron.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
Forking out like £8 on a card that you couldn't buy anywhere else.
Yeah.
So that getting nicked out of my bag was devastating. Really devastating.
That was a right den.
That was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, someone made a lot of money out of that. Ridiculous money. I mean, it must have been back when the internet was in its really prime state. So just that guy sat in his shop was ordering them online, probably from Japan or wherever.
Yeah.
And then selling them at a massive profit. Ridiculous.
Yeah. Another horrible story is back in I mentioned them earlier, Tamagotchis. Yeah. Do you remember the Tamagotchis?
Yeah.
So little
virtual pet.
Yeah, a little virtual pet, and you feed it and you look after it, and then it evolves, and if you're lucky enough, it'll evolve into like the last creature.
I definitely talking about Tamagotchi and not Digimon, because Digimon I know definitely evolved.
Okay, it's Digimon then.
Yeah, and then you can battle with them as well.
That's okay. Yeah, I've got it completely wrong. So it was Digimon because
they were fucking brilliant.
But we had everybody had them at primary school, so it was 9-10 years old.
Yeah, myself included, definitely.
And it was all looking after them, trying to get them to evolve in the super version of it. And this one kid, you managed to get it to that super version.
Yeah, the ultimate.
Absolute.
It was the ultimate. Because you had rookie, champion, and then ultimate.
Yeah. So this lad got ultimate, and it was like, we should kill it. So we convinced this lad to battle us. We were the sacrificial lambs. We knew that we would lose against this ultimate, but after successive battles, we managed to kill it. So I think he had it for about a day.
Oh, devastating.
And
it was quite exciting, that, because I think I got to an ultimate on mine out of the blue, because there was techniques to try and fucking make them evolve, and you sort of neglect them for a certain amount of time and then feed them and stuff like that. This is all really nerdy, but there was no sort of perfect way. It was just chance more than anything else that you would get him to evolve. And I think I was watching a Hull City game with my dad and my brother, and I had it in my pocket, and I just pulled it out, and it had evolved to ultimate, and I was like, fuck, brilliant, amazing. And it lasted a few weeks, managed to keep it alive for all that time, and then you looked down one day, and it was dead, and you're like, fuck, fuck, like, Jesus. And I didn't even know how I got it to that stage in the first place, and obviously never achieved it again. So they were a real lesson in life, to some extent.
Yeah, it was early child rearing, I suppose.
Yeah. What does that mean about child rearing? You might do something great for your child that it'll evolve to an ultimate, but then it will die.
Yeah. I think that's the lesson it was trying to get across.
Yeah, you might
feed it, water it, train it.
Yeah, but you will end up killing it. Yeah, that's what I took from that anyway. Definitely.
Battle them.
Yeah. Make sure they're fighting fuck out of each other, because that's what it's all about, really. Children are just sport. That's the main idea. Did you have something more to add on scandalous gay celebrities, or just drop it?
The main point that I wanted to get across is that I'm real disappointed that I missed out on Noel Edmonds House Party. Like, not in the watching it on TV sense, in the fact that I never got to go to one of his house parties.
It was a fantastic time in Noel's house, wasn't it? Because
it was always on TV, and I was like, these guys are having a fucking brilliant time.
Mr. Blobby was there.
I turned 18, and it was long gone. And I mean,
long gone. Yeah.
There was, I mean, I could only dream what Noel's house party was going to be like.
Yeah. As far as my memory serves me with that, the reason they had to take it off air is because they had a guy who wanted to bungee jump, and they made his wish come true, and he died. He actually
Really?
died mid bungee jump, and he was like, right, that's terrible, shut the show down.
Damn.
And Noel was off the air for a long time after that.
Yeah.
And then he's only just come back, well, in fairly recent years, come back with Deal or No Deal.
Yeah.
I think the blame wasn't on Noel, because I think whatever happened with the bungee jump, it wasn't down to him especially, but because it was his show, it hit him hard, and his career took a dive. But apart from that, it was a fucking fantastic show, and I loved Mr. Blobby.
Mr. Blobby was absolutely brilliant.
He was a force of nature, wasn't he? I think he'd turn up, he'd cause utter carnage for about 20 minutes, and then that'd be it, basically.
He was the life of the party, though, wasn't he? He was like, I mean, I don't know how much fucking flake that dude was doing, but that's one of the main reasons I wanted to go to one of Noel's parties, because there was so much going on, and just to meet Mr. Blobby, and I mean, it's the dream. It's a fucking dream when you're 18 years old. You got all these new things. You've already tried a bit of alcohol, and you've had a bit of this, a bit of that. Yeah. But Mr. Blobby, I reckon that dude had and has everything.
Yeah, that was the peak of 90s TV, I think, Noel Edmonds House Party. And I think, I might be wrong, but I think Mr. Blobby's fame carried on long after that, because the merchandise somewhat saw him through. And then he had a single, didn't he? Mr. Blobby's song. It was in the charts, I'm sure it was. Might have even reached number 1. People fucking love Mr. Blobby. It was amazing. And Christ knows where he is now. He's probably living very well. You know.
Yeah, well, God knows. I don't know.
Ultra rich. Really.
A legend of a...
Never needs to work again.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck Andy Peters. Fuck Gordon the Gopher.
Yeah.
Fuck Blue Peter. Mr. Blobby outdoes them all, really.
I'd find it stupid that they're all... there was that phase of Raid Area 51 and stuff like that, and see what's there. And I mean... I think that any other alien life form is just going to be like us.
Yeah.
And I mean, at the end of the day, what if you walked into Area 51 and there was Mr. Blobby doing fucking just massive lines of flake?
Mr. Blobby chonged off his fucking tits, rolling around, having a fucking brilliant time. I'd love that. I'd love that to be Area 51. Yeah. He's spent his entire fucking career. Well, he spent all the earnings he got off his career making the most secret base possible, and he bought a section of Area 51 for himself to live in secrecy, to live out the rest of his life on hard drugs, hard, frequent drug abuse. Brilliant. What a fairy tale ending to Mr. Blobby's career. What a revelation it would be to find him in there. Fuck you, all the people believing it's aliens. Mr. Blobby deserves that area much more. Much more.
And you've got to think that, I mean, if he actually was sent down from an alien race, that he's their best advocate.
That's probably the story behind Mr. Blobby, now I think of it. Because didn't he have a wife? There was Mrs. Blobby. And there was a whole backstory behind it. There might have even been a fucking cartoon during the peak of his career. And he probably was an alien. And there probably is a lot of truth in it.
It's definitely not a bloke in a suit.
No.
I know that for sure.
Who said that? No one said that.
I don't know, it's just fucking conspiracy
fucking
theories.
Yeah. Tinfoil hat stuff, that. Christ. Why would he be a real bloke? Well, I think that's about wrapped that up, hasn't it? I think what are we on now? Probably about an hour and a half.
Dunno.
Brilliant, an hour and a half. Yeah. After editing, probably still about an hour and a half. Yeah. It's been fantastic. I've enjoyed it. Did you want to play us out?
Yeah, I've enjoyed it as well.
Yeah.
Send us plenty of...
Yeah, we would very much appreciate fan mail or hate mail. Either, whatever floats your boat. If you've reached this point and you are dedicated to us, then please send us something. We'd use it.
Yeah. We need content. We don't need content, do we?
No. Thanks a lot for listening. Goodbye.